Bill, I want you to start by summarizing again for us the three premises that form the Kalam cosmological argument and explain why this simple argument is strong evidence for God's existence.
The argument is simply formulated. Premise one is that whatever begins to exist has a cause. Number two is that the universe began to exist. And from those two premises, it follows logically, three, therefore the universe has a cause. And then one can analyze what it is to be a cause of the universe, and a number of theologically striking and significant properties of this transcendent cause emerge.
Yeah, give us that first premise and the reasons supporting it.
The first premise, you remember, is whatever begins to exist has a cause. I think that this is almost obvious, but I give three reasons in support of this. First reason is that something cannot come out of nothing. Out of nothing, nothing comes. For the universe to come into being uncaused from nothing would be literally worse than magic. So if we reject magic, we should reject the idea that the universe just popped into existence uncaused. Now, sometimes skeptics will say, but quantum physics allows things to come into being from nothing. Subatomic particles can pop into existence out of the vacuum as random fluctuations. But John, this is a deliberate misrepresentation of the science. The quantum vacuum is not what the layman thinks a vacuum is. The quantum vacuum is most emphatically not nothing. It is a roiling sea of energy, a field of intense activity governed by physical laws. It is not nothing. So for people to say that these particles come into existence from nothing is simply a distortion of the science involved. The word nothing in the English language is a term of universal negation. It means not anything. So when we say the universe came into existence out of nothing, that does not mean that there was something prior to the universe and that was nothing. No, it means that the universe did not come into existence out of anything. And so for the universe to come into existence without a cause from nothing would be literally, as I say, worse than magic. So I think that's the first good reason for affirming premise one. The second reason for affirming that whatever begins to exist has a cause is that if things could come into existence uncaused from nothing, then it becomes inexplicable why just anything and everything doesn't come into existence uncaused from nothing. Why don't bicycles and root beer and Beethoven pop into existence uncaused from nothing? Why is it only universes that can come into being uncaused from nothing? So if you allow universes to do that, everything and anything should be allowed to do that, and that obviously doesn't happen. That's false. The third reason is that this premise, that whatever begins to exist has a cause, is universally verified by scientific evidence and common experience and never falsified. This is evidence that ought to appeal to the scientific naturalist. We have the strongest inductive evidence from experience that whatever begins to exist does have a cause.